Okay. So welcome everyone to today's session of the IRMAn Talk series. I'm Neha, PRM 27, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Anshuman Kumar from PRM 30. Anshuman is a strategy management consultant with over 15 years of experience in government advisory, designing and implementing MIS strategies, and government process re-engineering for digital transformation. Currently, Anshuman is working with the Palladium Group, and in today's topic of government process re-engineering for e-government schemes with digital transformation, Anshuman will be sharing his experience of implementing government schemes and projects. I also would like to introduce today's moderator, Govind Rai. He's also from PRM 30 and Anshuman's blockmate from Block D. That's something very specific they asked me to add. So Govind himself has an extensive experience in this area, the topic that we're going to discuss today. And he's currently working with Coal India. So over to Govind and Anshuman now. Anshuman, maybe you'd like to share your screen and, Govind, we'll get started.
Sure, thank you. So, hello everyone, and, and thank you, Neha, for the introduction. So, I have been working with government for more than 7, 8 years. Before I talk about or discuss about today's topic, let me share my experience after IRMA. So, I was part of PRM 29, but I failed in first semester, and I do not have any guilt or that type of, you can say, shy to share these things. I came back again in PRM 30. I passed. Then I my first job was with government of Andhra Pradesh. I was based in ITDA, Integrated Tribal Development Agency, and I was looking after Manarega projects. That gave me an enriched experience how government projects are being carried out on the ground and what is the requirement of transformation of those processes in a digital way. So that gave me an enriched idea how to what is the gap and how this gap can be fulfilled. From there, I moved to different organizations. I went to ICICI Lombard. I went to Paras Group, Hardcore FMCG. Like in IRMA also, I was willing to get some campus selection for FMCG because everybody was knowing that FMCG pays well. So people who do not get that type of lucrative offer, they try to get something else. So even after joining government, I got an offer to work in FMCG. But after 6, 7 months, I realized that I'm not feeling happy. I wanted to do something in the development sector. That's why I came back into development sector. In 2015, I joined Pradhan, an NGO, in their head office. So again, Pradhan was running different projects around different thematic area. Most of them were women empowerment through SSG and sustainable livelihood through agriculture-based mechanism. So their projects were running. Data collection was not happening digitally. So my role was to set up an MIS and MNE system for Pradhan so that all the projects can, uh, can be digitized in such a way that cost has to be one factor, time has to be second factor, and decision making for the organizations and reporting to the donor because the funding comes from the donor and donor also want a transparent system. So these were the challenges. We also want to engage only community women to collect data and all. So if we work in the rural areas, we hardly find any data operators who can collect data. They were not knowing even how to operate a smartphone, and we were going to give them tablets. The tablets were having different apps. They have to open the apps in vernacular languages because when we design something, it has to be in vernacular languages. So everything from those things, I learned a lot on the ground how the things are executed, what is the requirement, how the system has to be user friendly, what is the cost effectiveness, what are the challenges. Then I moved to government. I joined Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. I was part of TSU, Technical Support Unit by BMGF. So I was deployed in the ministry, and my role was again to enhance government e-process engineering, digitizing everything. So I'm going to share one slide. So I can tell what were the challenges and how we overcome those challenges and what impact it has created.
I think your different experiences provided you with the lens of tackling the situations in the way you could. So this whole steps that you took in terms of bringing these changes, we are looking forward to see you.
Yeah. Thank you, Govind.
Please do it in the full screen.
So, so the first thing, we all know that if you do not update, you will be outdated. We have seen in many examples, many industries, you have to update as per the industry standards and as per the requirement. So I'm going to talk about directly on the government projects that I have handled, what were the bottlenecks and how we digitized everything and how we reinvented the whole process re-engineering. Before that, if we talk about a common scenario and everyone in his or her life might have faced this situation. Earlier, there were no mobile, like if we go 10, 15 years back, we were hardly having a smartphones. We were students. We have to travel to here and there to appear in any exams or meet any family members out of your own hometown and all. So we used to go to reservation counter. There were different forms. We have to stand in queue. We have to fill the form. So these are different processes that were happening manually in the railway reservation ticket counter. Now government wanted to revamp the thing. That's why they brought this IRCTC app. The whole thing becomes so user friendly that nowadays you can book a ticket in 2 minutes, 1 minute. You can pay directly. So this is a very good initiative of process engineering. The system is same, the process is same, but everything has been digitized. Now coming to the example or the project that I have been involved into. So under MAHUA, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, there is a scheme called National Urban Livelihood Mission. This is just like NRLM. NRLM works in the rural areas. For urban poverty alleviation, there is NULM, National Urban Livelihood Mission. Again, under this mission, we are making SSG, we are making women entrepreneurs, we are providing them loans so that they can set up their own business. Apart from two, three other initiatives, like they also work for urban homeless, they also work for street vendors. So the challenge was that under this scheme, there was a provision of interest subsidy. So if we talk about 2015-16, at that time, the money lenders were charging around 13 to 14% interest from the borrowers. So under this scheme, there was a provision that after 7% of interest, all the additional amount will be borne by government through interest subsidy. But the whole process was manual, and the challenges ministry was facing that they were not able to track the status, how many interest subsidy had been provided, how many beneficiaries has been impacted, how many, how much amount is unspent with the different agencies at the municipal corporation level. There was no transparency, and also there was a delay of giving interest subvention, like more than 1 year, sometimes 2 years, that a beneficiary has not got any interest subvention since last 2 years. So these were the critical challenges. So government came and thought that we should have a system where everything has to be digitized. We have to remove these bottlenecks. So to have these types of scenario, first of all, the decision makers has to be very strong. Their willingness has to be very strong. So in the ministry level, there is a secretary, then joint secretary. So you have to prepare a model to convince the joint secretary. Being a consultant, our role was to prepare a roadmap that this can be done. These are the technical challenges, these are the financial challenges, these are the timelines, and this will be the impact. So once we prepare a roadmap, several rounds of discussions happens with the client or with the government. Once they agree that okay, we should go ahead for the revamping, Then the next process initiates. So next process is I'm going to backslide. So next process is like, first of all, we identify the problem. What is the exact problem? And we have to define each and every node of the problem. What is the root cause of that problem, and how we can then we define that what we exactly we want to achieve. What are our objectives? What are the processes that we are going to set? So that all happens under as is. Like what is the current situation? What we are going to make? What is the gap assessment? So that a study is done under as is. Then different types of processes are set. Implementation happens. Various validations happens. Then the whole thing becomes or revamped into digital way. So that takes multiple rounds of discussion, testing of data, validations, approvals, like who will be verifiers, checkers in the system, how the data will move from one process to another process. So everything, and also we wanted to make ensure that every process has to be, or the complete process has to be paperless. In digital solution, data validation through system, there should be any manual intervention. So when we start anything, like in other projects also, so to enroll a beneficiary into the portal, first of all, we made mandatory that you have to go through eKYC. Unless you've done eKYC, you will not be registered into the portal. For doing eKYC, you have to map your Aadhaar with your mobile number so that you will get an OTP, and then once you enter the OTP, then only you will be able to access the application form to take the benefit of a government scheme. So these types of process, like first of all, we have to think the business process. What could be the business process? Then what are the radical redesigning? How we are going to redesign? So everything we made on the paper, we tested it, and everything got approved from the government. Once everything goes well, then government generally recruits a third-party vendor or through tender and all. So that is different process. Once these are onboarded, then the process of initiating or the transformation starts. Now I'm coming back to the slide. So in ministry, the example I was giving, the beneficiaries were not getting the interest subsidy. The process was manual, like you can see in the left side of the graph. So there are four stakeholders. One is municipal level, second one is a state level, third one is bank, and fourth one is beneficiary. So for any schemes, government gives money to a state through PFMS. But earlier, there was no system of PFMS from the state to municipal corporation levels. So there was no tracking of fund availability or the expenditure. Second one, these are the manual process. Suppose some beneficiary is eligible for interest subvention, he has to fill the form that will go to the municipal commissioner. He will scrutiny, or his team will scrutiny. Then again he will sign. The file will move back to the account department. Then dispatch department. It will go to bank. Then again bank will update into their own system, but they will not do data entry into our like the scheme MIS portal. So there these were the challenges, and there was a delay of almost sometimes 1 year, sometimes 2 years. Beneficiary was not getting any information about the status of movement of his application. So neither the system was transparent, nor data was or the process was digitized. So this was the exact scenario. Now government was willing to revamp the whole thing. So we proposed that there is possibility of doing that, and for that we also thought that what should be the steps and all. For that, Allahabad Bank became our nodal agency. Now Allahabad Bank is known as Indian Bank. And we thought that what should be the first of all in government, what happens that they try to have a name. This is the fashion of this government, eh, this Modi government, that they find some funny name. The names should be in Hindi, but their abbreviations should be in English. So it should be very catchy. So after multiple rounds of discussion, we thought that Paisa would be the perfect name for this process re-engineering. So PASA stands for Portal for Affordable Credit and Interest Subvention Access. So that was a challenge we were facing. The beneficiary was not getting the access of interest subsidy on timely basis. So to eradicate that, we came up with this name, PASA, and also it is linked with interest subsidy amount, money. So that is how this name came. Now, what we did in this process that Allahabad Bank was there, but to but the beneficiaries are having accounts in different banks and branches. Like some beneficiaries are having bank their account in national bank, some in private banks, and some in cooperative, RRB, and some other types of bank. So first challenge was that there should be a platform where all the banks and branches has to be onboarded. Unless all the banks and branches are onboarded, that is not going to work. So we like worked like tediously for the 4 5 months to onboard each and every bank and branches manually. Some through digital way, like bulk upload data, if every data is synced with the template that we have created. Otherwise, manually we have to register. Also, there was a provision of approval and checkers of the data in digital way. So that took a lot of time to onboard the bank and branches on a common platform. Now, we also digitize the process of manual signature between bank and municipal corporation. So we tried to remove the process of movement of paperwork. So we digitize the work. System automatically now calculates. Suppose government has given the loan or the bank has given loan to any beneficiary. System will now automatically calculate that which beneficiary is eligible for what percent of interest subvention. What is the time? Like suppose some beneficiary has taken loan on 2nd of June. So his first installment of interest subsidy will fall on 2nd of July. So automatically for day wise system calculates that what amount and beneficiary is eligible for, and automatically the amount is getting transferred to the beneficiary account. So again we map all the account on this of beneficiary on this portal. So now government does that. They deposit some money in the Allahabad Indian Bank. They know that this is my interest subsidy amount for this month or for this quarter. So they deposit the money. Automatically now system transfers the amount to the beneficiary. So the whole process got revamped. Now the beneficiaries are getting amount or interest subsidy right time. They also get an intimation through SMS, whether you are having a smartphone or basic phone, that this much amount has been credited to your account as part of interest subsidy. So the whole process got digitized. Now we also took the help of DBT because that has to be Aadhaar enabled to validate the beneficiary data and to remove the duplicacy. We also we also ensured that there shouldn't be any data or duplicate data. So the system has to check whether the beneficiary is having or there is duplicacy of the data or not. So the whole process became digital, and for that, like this was the logo. Even we have designed the logo, that how the logo of this package would be there. Now the data in public is in public domain. Anybody can access the dashboard. Earlier, since there was no transparency, there was no dashboard available in the public domain. Now everybody can see. They can drill on the data up to some level because we cannot share data at the beneficiary level. So in this way, we have removed that there was a duplicacy of data, there was a leakage of money because we were not able to track that who is getting the benefit from this scheme, whether the money is going in some wrong account or what is happening with the money. For this, the government has won a Scotch Award for this transformation. Now I'm coming to second example. I was working with Palladium. So before pandemic, I was there in Pune. After pandemic, my job got wrapped up because nation was closed. The joint secretary from Mahua called me that government is willing to have a scheme under Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we want a person like you who can come and deliver the thing. We want to whatsoever you have done with PASA portal, we want to create something like that for a new scheme. So if you are willing to come, please come. So government has designed this PM Swanidhi scheme, Prime Minister Street Vendor Atmanirbhar Nidhi. So after pandemic, we know that all the street vendors who are part of our daily, who fulfill the needs of our daily requirements, their life got impacted. Their shops got shut down, and most of these street vendors are not having any linkages with the bank. They are not into the formal economy. So they try to get the money from the money lenders at very higher interest. So government wanted to help them and wanted to bring them into the formal economy. They also want to promote digital thing like digital India we talk about. So the PMO said that we want to implement the scheme, but this scheme again has to be paperless. Every process has to be digitized from a scratch to end. So you have to design something like that. Again, we designed everything. Even the street vendors who are not registered anywhere, we have given an option through eKYC. First of all, you apply your eKYC, then you validate yourself. System like a form will open. So after eKYC, few of the fields will be automatically filled by the system, and you will not be able to edit that, like your name, age, address, gender, mobile number. So basic things you cannot edit. Some data you have to enter either through mobile app or through some CSC center, wherever you want. Once you enter the data, that filled form will go to municipal commissioner account. Municipal commissioner will scrutiny or his team will scrutiny. Through system only, he will either approve or reject. Reject, then you have to give remarks what is the basis of rejection, so that the beneficiary should be getting the status of his application movement. If rejected, this is the reason you have to bring this document or whatsoever. If approved, then beneficiary will get that your application has been approved. Now your application has been sent to bank. So even in the bank level, again, all the banks and branches were again onboarded into different portal, a startup India portal. Again, the same challenge that we were facing with Allahabad Bank for registration or for the registration of every bank and branches. Now we were having the data and we were also having the idea how to map those bank and branches into different portals. So the work was quite easier for us. So we mapped within a month all the banks branches, like 95% bank and branches were mapped. Only challenge was that under this scheme, though this is part of Mahua, they work in urban areas, we try to take or account those street vendors who are selling their produce in block level market. Though they are living in villages, they come to market for daily livelihood. But they are having their account in the post office, somewhere in the rural bank branches. So only challenge was that how to map them. For the first time for this scheme, Mahua also incorporated MFI. Earlier, Mahua was not working with any MFI or NBFC. So Mahua also brought MFI into this scheme so that larger impact can be created at the society level. So the whole thing got digitized in such a way that the street vendors, either through mobile app or common service center. If he's not willing to go to common service center, then there was team from the municipal corporation level. They were organizing camps in different slums area. Like this camp will be organized in your area because you do not have to lose your livelihood. Because we know that if someone is going to municipal office, then it will take 3-4 hours. He or she has to stand in queue, get the approval, paperwork and all. So we want to digitize everything, and also we want to provide services at the doorstep of the beneficiary for everything. You do not have to move. System will be there. People will go to your doorstep. We want to have your livelihood at your source level. So in this way, we digitize everything. Then we thought that now street vendors are linked with the bank. They are getting loan, like working capital loan from the government. System was also promoting if someone is paying his or her EMI on timely basis, he will get an incentive. So if someone is like, when we calculated that the EMI for 10,000 is coming 900 XYZ rupees for 1 year, if he is paying his EMI on timely basis, he will get back approx 1200 rupees, more than whatsoever he is paying at EMI. Again, we made an provision that to promote digital transactions. So every street vendors were given training how to operate QR code. Now, challenge was that most of the street vendors are having basic phone, not even the smartphone. So first of all, how to enable those things also in the basic phone so that they can also take the benefit. We also thought that there are two perspectives. One, a consumer pays to the street vendors, so the digital transaction happens there. The street vendors also procure their commodities for the trading and all from some bulk sale or some wholesale market. So he again he has to pay. So for both side of payment, whether he is accepting or he's paying, his phone, even basic phone or a smartphone has that system so that he can pay through that. So an SMS system was made so that he can share that SMS and automatically payment goes to the beneficiary's account. So everything was digitized. We made those provisions that whatever technology was available and how different schemes or ministries can convert. Like we are having onboarded with Mighty, we were having PFMS system, we were having DBT mission. Then again NPCI came in. Then different payment aggregators like Bharat Pay, Google Pay, Airtel Pay, and the regional payment aggregators. Like in Kerala, some other payment aggregator is operating. So we brought each and every player on a common platform. There was a consensus that every a stakeholder will be onboarded on a common platform and everyone has to be digitized. So that took time, like 6 months, 7 months. So we started with one step and slowly we started adding new features. Now we realize that we are giving the loan to the street vendors in a digital way. He is also paying if he is doing cashback transaction, means he is doing digital transaction. System also calculates that how many transaction he has done, what is the volume of his transaction. Accordingly, system calculates the incentive he is eligible for, and at the end of every month, that amount goes credited to his or her account. So in this way, the whole process re-engineering was done. Now we wanted to have some different convergence with different ministries. Like we were knowing that not only the street vendors got impacted, but his wife, children, old parents, they also need some other support. Most of these street vendors migrate from one place to another place. So can we integrate ONORC, like one nation, one ration card? If he is eligible or if he is having ration card registered in Andhra Pradesh, can he avail the benefit in Delhi with the same ration card? Still for the Ministry of Labor and all, so they are having different schemes for them, Ministry of Child Welfare. So we try to integrate all different ministries on a common platform. So we designed an app, PM Swanidhi Se Samriddhi app, where system used to ask us different questions. Based on the response they were giving, system automatically used to tell them through SMS that you are eligible for these schemes. Once you are eligible for 4 or 5 different schemes, and if you are willing to take the benefit of that scheme, you only have to fill one form digitally. Rest the information that you have filled in one form will be digitally transferred to different other forms. So in that way, by filling one form, data got transferred into different forms. So he had not to spare much of the time in filling different data, different forms. So that happens digitally. Now every ministry was said that you have to make a nodal officer. So all the information like the application form that has been filled will hit their account. He will scrutiny, and if he finds that the beneficiary is eligible to get the benefit, he will approve, and an intimation will go to the beneficiary that you are eligible or your scheme has been sanctioned. Please come and collect your card or whatsoever certificate or the terms they are having in different schemes. So in this way, we digitize everything for this whole scheme convergence with different ministries. This was the first time that any ministry has taken a step to converge at the national level. Now, again, we wanted to have a dashboard in the public domain, even the access of the platform in public domain. So if any street vendor is eligible for first time loan, he will apply for 10K loan. If someone has repaid his 10K loan, he becomes eligible for 20K loan. If he has repaid his 20K loan, he will further get eligible for 50,000 loan. Once you becomes a regular customer of the bank, then you are part of formal economy. You have been inculcated the habit of becoming into the formal economy entity. So in this way, the relationship between the financial institutions and the beneficiary were also set up. If someone is willing to know what is my status, or if someone is willing to know how I have to map my mobile with the Aadhaar. So system was made every facility that you do not have to move here and there. You can track everything at a common place. Even the system was designed in such a way that if there is some pendency at any level, so that is not available in public domain, but the system will automatically tell that this application is pending with that particular nodal officer with X many number of days. So in that way, it becomes easy for the secretary, joint secretary, to scrutiny that what is the pendency, if any application or anything is not moving in any department, what is the reason, what action has to be taken. So at this speed and a scale, the system were designed. Now you can see the convergence ratio, like in our beneficiary profile. So we were having approx 37 lakh beneficiary, and the out of 37 lakh, 26 lakh profiling has been completed through system. So 47 lakh are the family members. Means on an average, you can say 1.5 members were covered into this scheme. If you see the eligibility criteria and the sanction means the beneficiary has got the benefit of that particular scheme. So if I talk about ONR, or One Nation, One Ration Card, so 3.73 lakh beneficiary were eligible. System calculated that out of that, 2.78 lakh got sanction of that scheme. So they were able to take the benefit irrespective of what geography you are living in and irrespective of where you are belonging, which state had issued the card. So in that way, the scale and the impact was such that system was able to help the beneficiary in real time basis. He or she do not have to lose their livelihood by going to each and every department, following up the things, and also a transparent system so that every government bureaucratic system, if the things are moving on file, you cannot track what is happening. So here, every nodal officer or every officer were accountable in the transparent system that what you are doing, what action you have taken, and if there is some delay from your side, because everyone was given a tag. So if some application or some process is not getting completed within that tag time, system would automatically give an alert. So one through dashboard with different color codes. Second one, his supervisor, like the next reporting officer, will get an email and SMS through phone that this is pending with this particular officer, please take action. Again, if that supervisor is not taking action, then that used to come to mission director or joint secretary level through SMS and mail, SMS or mail. So in this way, we have also set up a system of delay of implementation of any activity or task. So this has also given a fear among the bureaucratic system that okay, we have to perform, we are on the scrutiny or we are on the radar. Everyone is watching. There is someone who is watching us for each and every activity that we are doing. For that also, government has got an award. Now, when I joined Palladium Group, our client was Nasik Municipal Corporation. I'm giving a third example. So we know the condition of government schools. Only people who are not earning well, who cannot afford the fee of a private school, generally they send the school in municipal schools. I'm talking about like town like Nasik or small towns. So in a small towns, you can understand the condition of municipal schools. There are leakages, dams, there is no infrastructure of safe drinking water or safe toilets. Forget about the quality of teachers because they are the government employees, they will get salary. Forget about the quality of delivery. So when we joined as a consulting firm, management consulting firm, the client said that we want to make our Nasik school into a smart school. So we defined the definition of a smartness. What is when you will be called a smart? It's not only about the staging or putting the infrastructure. Unless a teacher becomes a smart, unless a whole ecosystem of that particular school becomes a smart, your output is not going to come easily. So first of all, what we did that we did again the current as is. Like what is the real condition as of now? What is the gap and benchmarking for the best practices? Like how far each and every indicator is far away from the best practices. Once we did this activity, we realized that we have to make a detailed DPR, like detailed DPR. So DPR, we also understood that what is the requirement of solution for that particular municipal schools in that geography, because same thing is not going to work in different geography. For every geography or for anything, you have to think from the perspective that what is the gap in this particular geography or in this existing thing. Accordingly, you have to design a solution. The solution has to be designed in such a way that it has to be efficient, cost efficient, time efficient. It should be user friendly, and this should be sustainable for a longer period of time without very hard manual intervention and all. Government, the challenge was that government was not having the fund for that. When we did all the things, then we also did the costing that what will be the funding required for this particular transformation. So we realized that there is a requirement of approx 70 crore for 70 municipal schools. So you can understand that 1 crore for one schools we have invested in government school. Now, if you see that transformation or the idea that we were having, how we are going to transform in municipal schools, first of all, we made a policy intervention that organization structure has to be changed. Earlier, there was only one education officer at the municipal schools, and he was managing everything, and everything is running on file. So many a times, a file is sitting on his table for more than 1 month, and he is not taking any action because he is having no support, nothing at all. So first of all, we thought to restructure the organization. Who should be the helping hand? What should be their role and responsibility? So one was organizational restructuring, which will give a strong base to support the education ecosystem in the municipal corporation. Now there were different interventions. First intervention was IT system. So to make any school a smart school, we implemented a smart classroom. We were having computer labs. Every school, every classroom is having internet connectivity, CCTV, biometrics attendance, and a school management system. So a smart classroom is that in every class we have given 75-inch interactive panel. So the panel can work digitally as well as in offline mode. You can use as a blackboard. The panel is so tough, even if you hit with hand or some ball, it will not crack. Again, since we have deployed or we have incurred the cost of approx 1 CR in every school, so the surveillance through CCTV was mandatory. So everything is monitored through CCTV. There is a recording of 15 days. Data gets stored in the cloud. Now we were knowing that some CSR are coming and giving some support to municipal schools or some rural village schools, but they can adopt one or two schools. They can give two computer as the name of CSR funding or donation, and they will take the credit. Imagine if you are having 1,200, 1,500 students, and you are having only three computers, how they are going to learn? I think their term or their number will come after 6 or 7 months if everybody is given a chance to run the computer for 1 hour or 2 hours. So we thought that at least 21 computers should be provided in each and every school, irrespective of the number of a student, so that everybody gets a chance. And also, every classroom is having interactive panels, so students can also practice there. Then we were having digital content. Now all the NCRT or state government books are digitized. They have been approved by the government. So only the approved digital content is being taught. Also, every syllabus has been animated in such a way that audio visual effects is there. If there is a session of 40 minutes, at the end of any chapter, the teacher is teaching, system automatically sets a question like 8, 10 questions on the screen. Now, teacher asks, okay, I have taught, this is system generated questions, a student has to answer. System automatically calculates the percentage of passing. Suppose there are 10 questions and only most of the students only answered 5 correct answer. So 50% accuracy is there. So we also evaluate the performance of a teacher in such a way that whatsoever you are delivering to the students, if students are not grasping in the way, means your pedagogy or the way you are communicating or teaching is not up to the mark. So you have to improve. So we have made such provision that the tracking or the performance monitoring of not only the students but also teachers can be enabled into the system. Then we are working for the basic infrastructure because that is not part of our smart classroom, like safe drinking water, better toilets, compound walls, hand wash. Then we also work on different languages, like the government schools are having some Marathi medium, some English medium, some Urdu medium. So the content has to be in different languages for different standards. We have focused on 6 axes in this transformation. One is language, second one is mathematics, third one is science and environment, sports, art, and holistic development of personality. So, and fifth, most critical part is capacity building of the teacher, because we can have investment through digital infrastructure, but if we are not going to make a teacher a smart, then this is not going to work. Everything will collapse after 6, 7 months. So rigorous training of teachers were made so that they also know that they are smart. Now we have also initiated a step called school ranking. Not only ranking of the school, but also ranking of the performance of teachers. So now every teacher is knowing that my performance, whatsoever I am teaching, is being monitored. System is ranking without any biasness. So everyone is being ranked based on the same parameter, same set of skills, so that you cannot say that there is manual intervention. So this type of things we have enabled in transformation of a smart school. So you can see the glimpse of a smart school now. So what we have done, that all the color work, the color is not like this is BJP color or something. The color has been selected in such a way that it should be vibrant. New furniture has been given in every classroom. So for class 1 to 4, we have given colorful benches. For fifth standards onwards, wooden set texture bench has been taken. You can see in the second image, the first row, second middle one, there is an interactive panel that is 75 inch. Beside that, there is a green board. Sometimes your interactive panel may not work. So although there is a power backup of 30 minutes, suppose there is a power cut, so you will get a power backup of minimum 30 minutes. Even beyond that, if you have to teach something, then there is green board. The best part of this digital panel is that you can save the things that you are teaching, and from next day you can start from the same place or same thing. In Blackboard, what happens that you have to erase the things you do not remember that where we were yesterday. So here you can save everything. You can create your own folder and you can start from there itself. Then you, in the third image, you can see various animations, video, and all capacity building of the teachers. In the down slides, you can see the computer labs we have given. For the first time, even the government officer is not sitting in the AC, but we have provided AC in the computer labs for the children. And for that transformation, we have recently got Economic Times Government Digitech Award for the whole transformation. So we have, like, out of 463 nominations, we have been one of the winner in the education sector. So that's all from my side. So I would like Govind to share his experiences that he has done for Core India projects, and I would also like to share the from the fraternity of IRMA that if they have been part of any such transformation, they should also share their views so that we whole as a team can understand and take the knowledge from those experiences and implement it in a better way in future. Over to you, Govind. I am removing my screen now.
Thank you, Anshuman. It was a nice presentation where we saw how the internal stakeholders as well as the external stakeholders and a lot of people who are working in a diverse field were brought together in different platforms, particularly when you talked about Swanidhi, when you talked about Paisa. So a lot of people, a lot of vendors, they're all brought on one platform. Now that would have taken some real effort in terms of collaboration, in terms of efforts on streamlining and bringing everyone on the same page. One thing that if you could bring some perspective on how the scalability part, particularly in the school intervention that was done, because a lot of investment went into, and the accountability and governance part that you brought into it was really beautifully built into the system. Then how it impacted the school turnout in terms of the students and the performance of students, if you can throw some light if there was a certain significant time frame.
So first of all, you asked me a question about the one question was yeah, scalability. So first, this was the first time that we have initiated that project. So there are so many smart school conversion and all, but they are only putting the panel or some projector in the classroom. So we went beyond that. We want to have a holistic transformation, and for every stakeholder has to be accountable, transparent, and their monitoring has to be or performance has to be monitored through system. Now coming to the scalability and all, through the first project we experienced that how the cost can be minimized. If we are going at the economy of a scale, then surely we are going to reduce the cost. Once we have imparted these things, now there are some CSR who are coming and saying that we will give you free digital content which is approved by government because they also want to be part of this journey and take the credit. There are some other things. If we are going to, like, we were having only 69 school and we have given benches and all, so the cost went high because there was other reason of cost being high. We have insured all the products for 5 years. Means operation and maintenance and security of each and every product is there for the 5 years, because we know that if the vendor has come, they have installed the product, hardware or software, they will raise the invoice, they will take the money. Now their accountability is over. So we have made a provision and the payment comes in such a way that you have to maintain the thing for the next 5 years. If the thing is not working, there is a TAT, you have to replace the thing within that TAT time. Otherwise, there is a huge provision of penalty. So we have made that provisions. That's why the cost has gone a little higher. Now coming to the economy of a scale, in Nasik there is guardian minister. So for every district there is a concept of guardian minister. So every district is having a guardian minister. Today in the first half, I made MP of Nasik. So he called me that he also want to transform around 3,000 schools of Nasik district in the rural areas. So he was talking about Jila Parishad. So Nasik district is having approx 3,000 primary schools in the rural areas. So he was so overwhelmed with the transformation that if we are going to transform those 3,000 schools, then automatically the cost will be very less. Now we also know that in rural areas there are challenges of safety and security, whether we are going to provide benches or not, whether we are going to transform each and every classroom in rural areas or not. So even if we try to convert approx 50% classroom, so that will give first of all an experience to the students to adopt the things, and slowly we can improve or we can again convert in phase-wise manner. So the economy or the modus operandi of transformation, you can say, is such a way that everybody is now willing to get that type of project. Only the cost is a factor. Now we have also ensured the funding of 25 CR, at least till now, for 2-3 discussions. For this transformation, we have already secured the fund of 25 CR through CSR. On and that too from Nasik.
It's
Like
a
there are
big chunk.
So again, like we know that for transformation of 3,000 schools, there will be a lot of investment. So we are again exploring some funding so that we can start phase one. And sorry, your second question was? That no.
So it was about the accountability that you already covered.
So accountability is
what I
that
was
the system.
also thinking.
Yes. Yes, go and continue.
So you already answered that. What I was thinking that because there's a lot of digital maturity index of an organization that defines the success of an intervention like this. Because once we see there's the buy-in from the internal stakeholders, particularly in government initiatives, what we have observed is there is a top-down driven approach, right? Now there are different stakes people have when the transparency comes in. Once there is there is a accountability that is set to a particular person. So a lot of resistance is there. Can you share something about the resistance that these initiatives faced? Although, sir, if it is driven by joint secretary or no secretary level person, then the resistance automatically dissolves to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, the people who are in the schools, their resistance, how it was overcome. This would be like my last question, and then I would like the people who are there, IRMAn fraternity to please come up with their own questions, comments on this.
Thank you for asking this question. So there are two different ways. If you work with the government and if the government are decision maker, that was the central level, so they know how to make administrative decision. Because they are the decision makers, so administratively they can deliver anything on the ground. Second one, when you work with some particular projects, then you have to map each and every stakeholder. There is always a resistance from them, particularly from them who are not performing well, who thinks that I will be under the radar. Those who are performing well, they try to have those things so that they can be incentivized. They can be given some name or benefit or salary hike. So everything is linked with that. So there is always those type of things. In government, what happened that the pressure was so high from PMO. It was PMO who was dragging the things because of political scenario, vote bank and all you can say. The scheme got registered into the DISA portal. So the PMO is having a DISA portal. Under DISA, only few flagship scheme is monitored directly by PMO. So PM Swanidhi is one of them. So once government is making and Secretary of DFS, Department of Financial Services, or Secretary of MAHUA is conducting, and you can imagine that every alternate day we were having review meeting. Every alternate day. So we have to make PPT. So today we will grill this particular state. All the municipal commissioner has to be there. If someone is not performing, then I speak to their reporting officer. I speak to the principal secretary of that particular state, and like that was the level of, you can say, administration that carried out in the ministry. Also, there was a fear factor. So someone was given target. If someone was not like delivering the things, he got suspended. The article started coming in the newspaper. If because in this system, bankers are also a stakeholder because they have to credit the loan. If the application has moved to the bank branch and if they are not able to process or disburse the loan, they were suspended. So this was the pressure from the government, such a administrative pressure that they have to perform. Second one is that like those who are doing very good, like I'm talking about Varanasi. Talking about Varanasi example. So the municipal commissioner of Varanasi has taken good initiative. Even the municipal commissioner, apart from district collector, municipal commissioner has also taken a very good initiative. Some states like Telangana has taken a very good initiative. So those who are performing well, like they say that we will organize health camp in the community. Under health camp, everybody will get the benefit, and at the same time, we can give the benefit of different schemes to the beneficiary. So the whole purpose of doing that, the system was designed in such a way that most of the stakeholders, means government bureaucrats, finds it easy to deliver rather than find it very tough to deliver. So their role only was to monitor. So everyone was given a role of to monitor because the execution is happening on the ground. So unless you become part of rigorous monitoring, again in rigorous monitoring, you should be knowing that where you have to hammer. Rather than sharing any progress data, we were not showing any progress data. We were only focusing which is the bottleneck, where we have to hammer. If something is going good, let it be. We should not bring it into our review meeting. We should only focus on the bottleneck. So in such
Right.
mass level, even today, if you open your FM, your jingles and the advertisement of PM Swaneji is coming because that is under the radar of PMO.
Yeah, I do get it because because in coal industry, what we have is there is a PMG portal, project monitoring group. So all the projects which are above 1,000 crores are being directly monitored by PMO, and DPIT is specifically putting a lot of emphasis on the timely completion, the milestones, the activities, and then there is a lot of stakeholder churning that goes on, bringing states on board, bringing different departments on board. So, any questions from the from the IRMA fraternity? Please go ahead and shoot it to Anshuman.
Or any suggestion or their feedback or their experience, they can also share.
Please. I think.
Okay, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So, just to because you mentioned about my experience in Coal India. So, Coal India being one of the largest coal mining companies in the world, and we provide the energy security to the whole of country. And I would say that out of 10 hours of any electricity equipment that you use, 8 hours of that electricity is being produced by the coal that we produce. And uh, there's a lot of legacy that coal mining per se had in terms of the initial private coal mining, and then once it was nationalized, then also a lot of baggage of manual processes, and there is a resistance to change that happened. But 2 years back, what we did was we did a performance enhancement intervention by identifying 14 use cases of digital intervention, and we onboarded Accenture to provide us the consulting. And it was a successful project because we are now able to see a lot of process improvement and quick gains in mining processes, particularly based on the different efficiency parameters that we can gauge, and particularly in terms of the heavy equipment machineries that we are using. So digital per se is very good intervention, particularly when it comes to governance, when it comes to public sector and government organizations, because we make a larger impact because of that. Even a small efficiency gain has a ripple effect multiple times. So with this, I summarize my viewpoint, and it was a nice presentation from you, hearing the different experiences from different sectors, finance and then education. Thank you, Anshuman.
Thank you, Govind. Thank you, Govind. So it was nice opportunity from the IA to provide us a platform to share our experiences. And in future, I would expect that some more IRMA fraternity can share their experiences so that we can learn more and more around different thematic areas, different interventions, and we can adopt, not only learn, we should also adopt those things into our practical life or professional life wherever applicable.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Neha.
much,
Thank you,
Anshuman
Neha and
and
Ritesh.
Govind, for your time. And I think great talk. And I think we had good participation. Yes, Amit, the talk, the video and the PPT will be up. You'll probably receive notification on one of the WhatsApp groups or through mail, right, from the IA. So thanks everyone for joining. Have a good rest of the day and the weekend. And see you all soon. Bye.
Okay, bye bye, everyone.